In this video, I'm making Happy Tree Friends realistic. It's probably one of the grossest cartoons ever, and that's why today we're gonna make these three dads realistic. Starting with this one. It's definitely one of my personal favorite. First up, we have to make the grass for everything else to sit on. It just takes some perspective warping. Now for the railway, it's a bit more complicated. This image looks almost isometric, and that makes it pretty much impossible to find a photo at the right angle. So instead, I cut out pieces of this railway and warped their perspective a lot. I did the same to the planks. Next, to blend them in nicely, I added shadows underneath the rails and masked out bits of grass on top of it. And I did a little bit of color grading as well. We need to make the toolbox, so I cut one out and applied perspective warp on it. It's always a painfully tedious process. But now that it's done, I guess we can add the tools, the hammer and the wrench. And if we want it to look any good, we're gonna need a lot of shadows. And I guess some color balance wouldn't hurt either. For the train signal, we're gonna warp this concrete texture, and then cut out this pole that I'll duplicate and rotate horizontally. Now I'm gonna recreate the sign with a couple of shapes and angle it properly. We can also add the metal texture on top of it so that it doesn't look so smooth. Of course, it's gonna get a little color grading, followed by some shadows. Now for the star of the show, I'm gonna cut out parts of this capybara and warp them before masking them out properly. I just repeated this for all parts until there was only the tail left. I got this beaver tail, and as usual warped it in place, masked it, and did the same for the lower part. The last element is a utility belt, to which I'll add a nice screwdriver. I know you're all waiting for this, so let's get to the suspicious red liquid. First, I'll add the meat texture to his neck, along with a piece of bone. And after throwing some shadows onto that beaver, I kinda just went crazy with a brush and the blending modes to create this huge puddle of tomato sauce. After which, I added a splatter overlay on the sign, and it's finally time for a camera filter. Our second dash is... First up, we're gonna crop it down because I don't want the other character in my design. I think the seats are a good starting point, so I took the interior of a Bentley and warped the hell out of it before masking it out. Next, I wanted to make the front bumper, so I cut one out and put it in place. Oh, and this part of the windshield as well. I found this photo of a convertible, and it might look like it's not a good fit, but with a lot of perspective warping, it's pretty nice.
Nice job, team.
None of the colors are right though, so I'll make the back red and the seats a dark brown. We can't forget about the front, that also needs to be red. There is an awkward transition here, so I'll just paint something on top. The only thing missing for the car is the broken windshield. I'm just gonna warp some glass texture and add cracks on top of it. We can finally move on to the moose. I'm gonna cut out the snout of this guy and as usual warp the shit out of it. I'm gonna cover up the original nostrils and place new ones aligned with the cartoon. For the head and the body, it's the same thing, just a lot of warping. It's kind of the same thing for the arm, except I replaced the texture. Then for the details, I got this deer, grunting? I gave it a lot of warp and some color correction. We do need the tongue that sticks out, so I got this raw beef tongue that we're gonna warp in place and mask out as well. And I guess we should make the edge of the mouth a bit more defined. For the eyes, I wanted to go in a bit of a different direction than the cartoon and warped actual deer eyes in place. I think it looks pretty okay. For the antlers, I also went with a more realistic, natural angle, as I used these real antlers with minimal warping. I still think it looks pretty good and pretty close to the reference. On the antler, there is a bird eating the brain, so we're gonna cut out this little guy and adjust its posture. A while ago, I got this comment, and it made me kinda upset. So let's ask ChatGPT to make this realistic. And we'll compare it to mine when I'm done. I'm gonna add a brain sticking out and try to make it look bloody with this texture. By now, you probably know that when things don't look good, they usually just need some shadows.
Nice job, team.
It's time for some catch up all over the moose, and we can't forget some shadows on the car as well. Of course, we need the background, and it took me a while to realize I forgot the popcorn. But after that, all that it needed was a camera raw filter. This is my final design, and that's what ChatGPT made. In my opinion, I did way better than ChatGPT, but let me know what you think in the comments. This is the final death. First, we're gonna make the background by warping a wall and an image of a floor. Then we can make the table by warping a few poker table texture together and making the edges with planks. After that, I warped the chair in place and added some poker chips on the table. Making the squirrel is the hard part. I'm gonna warp furry texture to make it look brown-ish and cut out some lighter fur to make this part. For the mouse, the closest thing I could find was an outer with its mouth open. And of course, I warped it in place before color grading it. And while I'm at it, I'll also use its nose and try to make it art shape. You probably guessed that we're gonna warp these eyes in place and do the same for the ears. Maybe also for the ribbon. I mean, this video really just is a lot of warping. Then I'll add the body and the arms before color matching them with the rest. I'll also put the cards in place and hopefully salvage this whole thing with the shadows. Now I'm gonna warp some wounds beneath the cards, with some ketchup drippings, of course. And why not all over the face? I'll also split the eye with some very gross texture inside. And let's not forget the ear was cut as well. Now the only thing left is a camera raw filter. If you enjoyed this video, you're gonna love watching me make dumb ways to die realistic.